Solana experiences a 7-hour outage due to bots crowding the Candy Machine NFT minting tool. So keep in mind, what you have here is basically on the same day, we had kind of two semi-large, one really large NFT launch, right? Like Yuga Labs is way ahead of whatever this NFT mint is. That being said, Solana is still the only other one that's really minting NFTs at a higher level, meaning like most of the other options out there, something like Cardano, Polkadot, we could go to the proof of work ones, Ravencoin, Ergo, I would probably put in with kind of Cardano, even though the NFT marketplace is separate. Nobody's really anywhere close to Solana and Ethereum at this point. So it's important to note that what we see in comparison really here is proof of stake versus proof of work in operation. And while Ethereum, they say lights out, it didn't fully go down or anything like that. It was just unusable due to fees. In this case, though, for almost 7 hours, the Solana network was not processing blocks. This means that blocks completely stopped. That's not what happened on Ethereum with the largest mint ever, as it sat on proof of work. But bots had swarmed the popular NFT minting tool known as the Candy Machine, halting the network. The outage started on Saturday around 4:32 p.m. till around 11 p.m. Eastern. To prevent similar outage, the developers at Solana will soon deploy a botting penalty to stabilize the network. Late Saturday, the Solana network suffered an outage that lasted almost 7 hours, during which the network was not processing any blocks. Block production came to a halt between 4:32 p.m. till around 11 p.m. Eastern. We read that already and there's points, but okay. The root cause of the Solana network not being able to process transactions during this time was bots that had bombarded the popular NFT minting tool known as Candy Machine. According to the Solana status Twitter page, the Solana mainnet lost consensus after an enormous amount of inbound transactions flooded the network, surpassing 100 gigabytes per second. This is hard. So they didn't do if it's a capital G and a lower case B, it's gigabits per second, probably what it is. If it's a capital G and a capital B, then it's gigabytes per second. Anyways, engineers are still investigating why the network was unable to recover, and validator operators prepare for a restart. Furthermore, a botting penalty program will be deployed as part of efforts to stabilize the Solana network. So I do want to point something out here, because there's always been arguments over block size in Bitcoin. And part of the thing has to do with the arguments of transaction speeds and amount of transactions. Now, I would highly recommend that you go listen to Michael Saylor's podcast with Lex Friedman for more information on this. But the real idea that you need to understand here is that layer ones for blockchain don't need to have large blocks. They don't need to be able to necessarily even process millions of transactions at a time. What they need to do is be reliable, right? They need to be reliable and future-proof. So being slow is fine. This is what we refer to as layer one. When you get to the point of wanting to actually have a ton of small transactions, let's say, that perform very quickly, what you should develop on top of the blockchain would be something that provides some sort of settlement under a layer 2 solution. We could get into layer 3 in a different video. Maybe we could do a whole entire breakdown of layer 1, 2, and 3 and how they all function together. Suffice to say, what you want happening with your layer 1 is solid, future-proof, unbreakable technology. And that, to a lot of people, means basically smaller block sizes and just reliability, right? So that's where really you have the technology already to build the layer 2s on top of these. What Solana tries to do, obviously, is kind of be the best of all worlds. But what that ends up resulting in is vulnerabilities like such. Concerning the market impact of the outage, Solana was comfortably trading at around $91 before it happened. However, as soon as news broke that Solana was not processing transactions, Solana dropped by almost $10 in less than 4 hours to a local low of $81.91. This is a 10% drop in the stated period. At the time of writing, Solana is trading at $89.25, below the 3 crucial moving averages of the daily count. Of course, a lot of these sites are going to be concerned about price, but the real concern you should have here is the technology. So what is Solana? You're going to be having basically a proof of stake network that has larger block sizes, that sort of thing. And it is causing clearly some problems for stability on the network. Now, we could try to say, you could try to argue that, well, it's a botting problem. But if you design the network in a way that properly, that's, you know, future proof, that's going to be able to handle this type of thing, then this wouldn't be an issue in the first place. What do we do moving forward? How does that compare to Ethereum? Of course, like we said, Ethereum didn't go down. The problem with Ethereum is the fees. And obviously, like, part of the fix they were going to do with the fees was EIP 1559, which really put a huge burden on the miners, when I think you could have probably done something different. Like I've always said, I think MEV needs to go away, for example, would be one thing, but I don't know how you really necessarily, I'm not a developer. These are just my ideas in general. But to me, what we saw on Saturday was basically an example of what ETH may end up turning into once it moves to proof of stake, when we get examples like Solana. And it could be dangerous. This is basically proof of work versus proof of stake in practice. What are the advantages, right, of proof of work? Well, it's going to continue to process the transactions, right? What are the disadvantages? Obviously, as we see it, if we just compare these two chains, we see fee problems, right? What do we see on proof of stake? Well, we have low fees, but now we have a network that's down for 7 hours and can't meet consensus. So that's kind of the quick and dirty comparison of the two. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.